I'm here with Kate, a holistic health coach. So your journey as a digital nomad and holistic health coach is quite fascinating. Um, just want to better understand, so what inspired you to pursue this lifestyle, and how did your personal experience shape your path? Yeah.
Well, I would say I was always kind of a creative person, and I always had the really caring people around me that would help me to see my past and go through that. So I think it started all when I was a graphic designer because at the university I was studying marketing and advertising, so it's kind of logically led me to the doing design because I was always so creative and doing some interesting things. And it was all good when I was working in office. I had the schedule. I was waking up at the same time. I had time for the gym, even though I was really, really tired of. Then I decided to do freelance. So I moved to the freelance, and I was like, yes, here you go. This is my freedom. I can do whatever I want now. I can wake up whenever I want. I can work whenever I want. And then slowly I started realizing I don't wake up at a good time anymore. I start waking up very late and going to sleep very late. So I was like, well, I need to do something about it, or what? And it's kind of slowly led to the feeling that I'm really stressed, I'm really burned out, and I don't have any time for anything at all. And I was like, I need to do something that would help my body to get back in track. And what I did at that moment, I think I just stepped back a little bit and decide to take a pause of my work and thinking of what should I do. And there was also a connection with the time when I was in Bali. If you remember, there was a corona time when everything was closed. So I was in Bali while the corona time hit hard. So instead of being 2 weeks, I stuck for 6 months. This was a second sign of the life showing me that I need to change the past. I lost all my clients, and
You mean from your freelancing work?
yeah, I lost all my clients, and
Due to what?
due to Corona, because people were prioritizing something else, they were cutting off budgets. So I was like, what should I do? I started digging deep into nutrition, into holistic coaching, into yoga. I start doing a really deep detoxifying my body and learning about it. But at that time, I didn't realize that, what to do with it, how to create it as the profession. So I get back to the doing design, and then that's where I completely got burnt out again. But I started having severe panic attacks, which was really unpleasant, and really nobody could understand. Those who had panic attacks in life could understand what it is. So I was like, okay, maybe that's the sign that I'm doing something wrong. So I stopped doing design. I stepped back again, and there was one particular situation that happened. I came to my mom. My mom, she's a skin doctor and cosmetologist, and I went to get some beauty treatment for myself. And I'm talking to mom, she's my best friend, honestly, in life. I was like, Mom, can you please help me? I feel like I need to do something more meaningful in life rather than just doing a design, but I can't quite figure out what does that profession could look like. And then she's like, oh, just recently I did some research and I saw the holistic school. I was like, what is holistic? In Ukraine, people have no idea what holistic is. They still don't really understand what it is. And I was like, just send me over, let me take a look. I look at it. It was really expensive for me, the studying. I was working office, I couldn't afford much, but I had some savings that I planned to buy a new laptop. And then, I was like, yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. So I put all my savings into the school and start learning it. And this is how basically I become a holistic coach. I heal my own panic attacks in 4 months.
Right.
I stopped antidepressants. I didn't need doctors at all.
Nice.
That's how it started. That's how it shaped into. And I was like, if I could heal myself, I can help others. And then when I start helping others to stop panic attacks, I was like, maybe that's what I'm meant to do.
That's a pretty fascinating story. A lot of twists and turns, and yeah, it's pretty amazing how all those different mini experiences actually shape your digital nomad experience and blend it all together with like holistic health coaching as well. Just for those who are unfamiliar with the term holistic health, like just break it down for like the audience. Yeah. So like and how do you incorporate it into your work with the clients? Yeah.
So basically, holistic means whole. So when we look at the person, we look at the whole system. So we look at the physical, emotional, spiritual, all the levels that possible. We're trying to see all together. Because, for instance, if we go for the doctor, if we have a stomach pain, we go to the doctor and we say we have a stomach pain. The doctor is going to give us just the medicine that suppress the pain, right? But it's not going to necessarily treat the cause. Because the cause could be maybe you stress too much, maybe you have the exams coming out, or maybe you have a deadlines coming out, or maybe you actually have some chronic pain that comes from your like family, you know. All of those things can treat differently or all together as one. So when we look at any problem, when I work with my clients or when just in general I look in the world, I see everything as a big thing. And slowly, step by step, we work with each part.
Yeah. It is, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head. Like, you know, it's not just like a one-dimensional thing, right? It is psychological, physiological, like emotional, spiritual. Like, in order to like really cure and treat someone, you have to know like, you know, like all the conditions, like from like a multi-dimensional perspective instead of just like focus on one tiny facet, and then you just miss all the other parts.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm just curious, like, so like having worked in this holistic health coaching field for quite a bit of time, what are some of the misconceptions about like wellness and health? Yeah, people have.
Yeah. That's actually a really good question because I often come to them when a client comes to me or any person asks me questions. They already have something that for in their head it's not necessarily right. So let's start with the first one. Is like all-in-one solution. So when the person, let's say there is a famous blogger and famous blogger is using this specific diet or doing this specific exercise, and then she has like 1 million followers, and that let's say 10% of these followers are doing the same exact thing that she's doing, but it doesn't work for them. Why? Because it's just not meant for them. It doesn't fit for their body or the schedule or the lifestyle or maybe the country they live, the time zone they have, like whatever. So people try to like get one solution and implement it everywhere, and it's not quite work.
One size fits all. Yeah, like biodiversity, like everyone is different. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first one. The second one, I would say, when people are trying to really think as a wellness as a restriction. So they're trying to restrict themselves from a freedom. So let's say they try to cut down on carbs, or they try to do like intense exercise. Like they go on very strict extreme matters, and then they're like, okay, the wellness is not for me.
Yeah.
But it's actually
they try to like springboard and like go to like the extreme spectrum instead of like taking one step at a time.
Yeah, so that's the second thing, and I think that's exactly my specification. Is I am trying to teach people to not go to extreme. Like if you like to eat chips, you can still eat your chips and be healthy. Like
you have like you can have one chip meal like every once in a while. So,
like it's totally fine, but only if it's like once in a while. If it's everyday cheat meal, then it's a lifestyle. So one more maybe. I don't quite remember. Let me see. There was the one particular that I liked. So the third one is about I have no time. I'm too I'm too busy. I have too many kids. I have too many like things to take care of. I need to rest and things like this. So people are thinking that there is no time in the schedule to create something. That they think that wellness is something that perfectly fit the schedule, and every day you do exact things, and that's why you're healthy. No, like when you implement step by step those solutions, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do every day. You can have days off. You can have some time to maybe shift from doing yoga to doing another type of fitness, right? So it does not necessarily have to be so strict with it and stick with the one thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
so those are
yeah.
Also I like the magic pill stickers. So that's the people who like just come and say, okay, just give me this thing and it's gonna solve all
the problems. Right.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry, but the magic wheel is a everyday little step, little routine that you implement in your life, and then it's a long-term magic wheel. I would call it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with, what you said earlier. I think, like for example, like if I'm like on the road, like I travel a lot, I have a busy schedule, then what I do instead is in the morning I just go for like a 10-minute swim, or like just do skipping for 500 times, and or like just do 50 push-ups, right? Those activities don't require you to go to a gym or spend a lot of time. It takes like maybe like 10 minutes in the morning, but it basically makes a huge difference, and it basically sets you ready for the day, right?
Yeah,
like just a 5-minute meditation, right? Just like
it's better than do nothing. So that's I think that's ideal leads to perfectionism. So there's people who are very strictly perfectionists, and they think that or everything or nothing.
Yeah.
So they try to start day with the yoga at 7 in the morning, then meditation, and then this and that, and then next day they woke up at 10. It's done. Like they don't know what to do. Like they get lost. And I've been there because I've been perfectionist myself.
Yeah.
Like I've been graphic designer and sticking like perfectly pixeled design forward to my clients, and I was very perfectionist with myself. And honestly, it's a really big struggle because you are having so much, like such a high plank inside yourself, then you can never reach it, and you get so disappointed when you think that everybody is better. Like whatever you try to do, you cannot reach this point.
Yeah.
So for those who are actually having this feeling inside them, you need to just slowly let it go and listen to your body and learn how to go with the flow.
Yeah, biodiversity, understanding like what your body needs, and just take it one step at a time, instead of like trying to make that like quantum leap, right?
Yeah.
From 0 to 100. Like, it doesn't work out that way. Like just as like any skill or any like particular profession, like it takes time to develop the habits and get better at doing something. Yeah, for sure. So can you share some of the transformative success stories you have witnessed in your work?
I have one particular story I wanted to share today, and it's connected to Chiang Mai. So it's very like, I think that would be very interesting, because I had a client and she lived here in Chiang Mai, and she came to me with really intense like things. So she had grade 1 obsessivity. She had really disconnected from her body. She had like 4 years of depression. She told me she doesn't like herself, doesn't like to see herself in the mirror, and she want to get some changes with herself. She told me one particular thing that happened that she couldn't solve is she was so craving very, very fried food. There's normal fried and there's like over fried food when it's like has a lack on it. She's like, I don't know what to do, Kate. Like, I need to stop because I'm gaining weight, I'm getting sick, and I'm getting disappointed. So where we start working, usually I start working with the inner layers. Because every single problem that we have has actually the root cause. And the root cause, it is not that we're exercising wrong or something. The root cause could be about limited beliefs, about some negative patterns, maybe from the childhood and stuff. So I have my own, I kind of like over the years, I developed my own way of working with clients. I have like an integrative meditation coaching session. It's like a one session where I integrate a multiple purpose things. And so the client can relax and dive deep into the mind and kind of release what he remembers. So I was really shocked what I discovered with this girl. She remembered the story where she was a little child and her mom was very obsessed with healthy eating. So at home would be only healthy food. There would be nothing bad. There would be no cheat meals. There would be no chips, like nothing. Whatever she would wanted to try to eat as a kid, right? Like normal kid, everybody wants to try something. McDonald's Happy Meal. She would have nothing of it. And when she grew up, when she was 18, she moved out of the parents' house. This is when she started eating a lot of like unhealthy food.
Because she hasn't had the experience of eating healthy,
right?
Like
she
fried
had
food.
such a like strict restriction. Then if we looked at underconsciously, her unconscious mind was basically sabotaging parents.
Right.
So she was like, okay, I will show you that I can eat this.
I can do this.
Yeah, I can do this because I'm already big enough. I'm not a kid anymore. So when we worked through this, it just fell off. She's like, I don't feel anymore. I don't feel like eating.
Right.
I don't feel like eating bad food.
And what was like the process of like figuring out that root cause? And like what was your methodology of like arriving at that conclusion?
Well, it's really hard to explain because I don't have like a scripted session of how it's supposed to be. But how it's done is that I'm combining an NLP and coaching methods together with a meditation. So let's say I am diving into if we dive into the childhood, I'm kind of like writing a personalized meditation to the person. I'm first like, like we go into the meditative state of mind, some alpha state, and maybe deeper if the client that can. And then after that, we start talking and slowly like discovering what was happening in the past and more past. And I'm trying to see the connection and how the clients reveal the emotions. Usually like there's some emotions pop up, like the person start crying or feeling a little bit like anxiety, like it depends on the situation. So that's when I realized this is the root. Right. And then we start very, very carefully not to harm, work through this.
Interesting. So it's more of an art than a science, basically, and it depends on the client.
Yeah. So what happened with her after is that we figure out this root cause, and after that, her mind became like more open to do some new changes. So what we did, she's like, I absolutely don't want to cook. And she was eating out. She was going and buying 7-Eleven ready food from, this ready packages. But then she's like, I want to try something new. I was like, do you want healthy dish? Just once a day, you cook something healthy. Maybe just a fresh salad, something very simple.
Yeah.
She started doing it, and then over the years, I still contact her, and she's still doing that one little thing that we implemented. And it's so important because it shows that the method is working.
Right.
So after that, we implement some journaling and this and that, mindful practices,
that's
walking, and that's it. Like this is how within 4 months, basically, we shifted the whole thing that she came with. Then she lost 17 pounds with me, and then she lost even more. And I didn't restrict her. I didn't give her any diets, any like I didn't tell her don't buy food from supermarket. That's the thing.
That's a pretty great story. And yeah, I'm just curious, as a digital nomad yourself, like what kind of health tips or can you offer to like the digital nomads who are always like on the move, like traveling around and stuff like that, to have a very busy schedule?
So the first thing I would say is before you planning to go on a new trip, try to plan something ahead. So let's say you're going to Chiang Mai, try to look before, a few days before, of what healthy options for food they have. Like save maybe 3 to 5 cafes that you can go eat, like you can have breakfast or lunch or dinner, and maybe check out like what kind of exercises are available around you. Maybe there is a gym, maybe you have a condo that already has a gym, so it solves a good problem like I have right now. Also, Chiang Mai offer a lot of yoga studios and even like free yoga in the park if you explore good enough. So then when you arrive to the place, you don't have to struggle and run hungry searching for place, because when you're hungry, you're most likely just gonna go to the first cafe that you found and eat whatever they're gonna have. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say, when you are traveling, try to plan, like create yourself a schedule ahead, but be flexible. So for example, you think that you might go for the gym in the morning, but you arrive and maybe the gym is closed or it's too far or something. So be a little bit flexible so then you don't have to panic when something goes wrong. Yeah,
like this concept of structure flexibility, like it's important to come up with structure. But then, I mean, we know we don't have control like over most of the factors or the situations, right? And you also need to like, leave quite a bit of room for you to maneuver and be flexible. Otherwise, like, the gym doesn't I mean, it's an open, then, I mean, does that mean you just like not do anything? But like, I mean, there are a lot of other avenues and ways to go around it. So,
Yeah. One more thing I think is important is that you don't need to rely on yourself only. So whether you want to work with a health coach or you want to go find some cool app that, or let's say ChatGPT, that will help you create some interesting ideas for what you can eat or how healthy you can be. You know, we all digital mind people, so we all know that we can simplify our life rather working with a human or working with AI.
Yeah. Reach out to Kate, yeah.
Or to GPT.
Yeah. And GPT recommend Kate, maybe. Right.
I have custom GPTs, by the way. I give it as a gift, guys. So if you follow my YouTube and Instagram and just write me something, I will send you over the custom GPT that help you find food in different locations wherever you go.
Oh, that's awesome. So you fine-tuned that GPT too?
I created like the custom GPT. I tell them what to search for, how to find healthy options.
Oh.
And there is a little bit of my like personalized touch. I give some advices of how to eat healthy. So
nice. That's
all
awesome.
in one.
Also, this other thing, last time when we first met up, you mentioned you actually practice Reiki since 10 years old. So that's so interesting, right? You have been practicing that like for like almost 10 years, and on the website you mentioned you practice a type of Reiki that is in like the Jiva system.
Yeah.
And so like, how did you discover Reiki, and like what drew you to this practice? Yeah.
So basically, I don't know much about Reiki because it's not the system that I learned, but I know that it's quite similar. So Jiva is the Slavic system that also helps you to connect to the universal energy and the energy of Earth, and basically to the light itself, and work with the people. So how did it start? Actually, it is more than 10. It's like 13 or 14 years ago.
13 years, okay.
So it goes back to my mom. Thank you, my mom, for being my mentor, because she was studying that before. And then she's like, you know, imagine it's Ukraine, it's an old post-Soviet country. It's maybe 2005 or 6, and mom all of a sudden came and said, I have a psychic ability and I can heal people. Like everybody's like, what?
Yeah, everyone
like
does
this
it,
is
right?
weird.
Yeah.
And then, you know, over the years, I started like trusting more because she was healing my pain. I have some like chronic stomach pain that comes from my genes, and I was not able to heal it with the doctors because they were just giving me a pill. And then when my mom was, you know, putting the hands and she was healing the pain, I was like, wow, that's actually working. And then once I came to mom, I think I was around 18. I was like, Mom, I need to do this. Like, I want to do it. I'm so curious. Like, I want to be, it's like a superpower. Like, imagine you can talk about Harry Potter world, but you can actually have a superpower right here, right now. So she sent me to, I don't know how to call him, right? A mage. A person who has this abilities to pass the knowledge. And the first thing I had, like I cut my finger at home when I was cutting the salad.
Right.
And I was like, well, the blood is just doesn't stop, you know, and then I put my hand over and I connect. And then I heal and I take it and the blood stopped.
The blood stopped.
Like,
how about the cut?
The cut, I still have it, by the way, here. I have the scar because it was pretty deep.
Okay.
But the cut stopped, the bleeding stopped, and I was really impressed. So then I started practicing more, and I was working with my own like pain, and it was working really well. And it still does, and it does with my clients as well.
Can you share more stories about that?
Well, let's
clients?
be honest. This is the first time I mentioned that I can do a Jiva or Reiki like over the camera. Usually, I don't mention that to anybody because some people have a really different reactions.
Right.
And sometimes they don't react quite how it's supposed to be, or they think I'm just over like showing myself too much. You know. So I only showed it to the people who I think would benefit from that, and let's say the Jiva or Reiki is already connected within my practice. Over these years, I kind of also have the ability to, not that read the mind, but I can see the people. I can see what's going on inside, like how person hurt in what kind of ways, and if I can help or not.
Right.
And so I think I have one particular story. I had a woman, a girl, that came to me with third stage of cancer,
Wow.
intestine cancer. She was a young girl. She is, let's say, she is a young girl with the cancer. Came to me and said, like, I have a burnout. I don't like the job. My husband, I feel like husband doesn't love me. I feel like I do the things just because I have to do it, not because I want to. I have full disconnection with myself, and I'm scared of death, like in all of these things. And she's telling me, like, please, can you help me? And honestly, I was hesitating to start working with her because it's a really big case. You know? It's a very big responsibility. But then I felt that I can do it. So we start working. And like I said, I have this integrational way of sessions. So sometimes I do just a pure session when we just talk, or sometimes I do like a meditation session when we dive in. So when we dived in, I use Reiki to see deeper and to connect with the client. Obviously, the client has to know about it, so I just don't do without asking. And yeah, over 3 to 4 months we worked with her, and she changed the job, she changed the profession, she became a photographer, she started doing painting, she started making money right away. She didn't have any money.
Right.
And I need to mention that she lived in a war zone in Ukraine, so there's constant bombing. There was a window bombed from her apartment. It's a real story.
Right.
And despite that, she was so passionate about changing her life, because like she was at the point of the end.
Right.
That she discovered how to like create the self-love,
Right.
you know. And I gave her a lot of recommendations, a lot of books, a lot of meditations, a lot of like inner work.
Right.
And that's how basically all her things shifted.
That's amazing. Can you? Is it possible to give a little bit more details about the Reiki approach or the process or the methodology? Is it? I've been to one Reiki session before, and it was like they have those like energy balls, and like you just like put it on both of your palms, and you just lie down, and like there's a guided meditation, and then like and then you just like close your eyes, and you're supposed to like try to visualize something. I mean, does that roughly describe the Reiki approach, or I mean, like, so what's the approach? Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk about Jiva, right? Because I'm not sure how they do in Reiki. So in Jiva, we have we provide energy from the hands.
From the hands.
And if it's the physical connection, so let's say you would lie down, and I would use my hands first to like analyze and scan your body and see what I feel about it, and then discuss with you the problematic points, physical and mental. And then I could do like general one when, so the thing is that the energy that comes from the universe and from the earth, it's coming from here. So I connect the energy of the universe, which has the yellow color, like yellowish white, like sparks. And then I connect the energy of the earth, because we are living on this planet, so we are connected to the energy of this planet. So it has like a bluish light color when you meditate. Like, I mean, when I meditate, I see that. And then it combines somewhere on like the center of your heart, and I kind of like see the white light coming around. So when this white light coming around, that basically it starts working the Jiva itself, and then you can heal whatever it's physical or it's mental pain, like whatever that is, whatever you struggle with, it can like purify your body basically.
I see. So it's like kind of like you. I mean, when you look at a person and when you practice Reiki, you can. So your task is try to connect the energy from the universe into the earth and try to see that white light. You know, like visualizing.
Yeah. So if when I do online with the person, I do it when the person has a relaxing state of mind,
Right.
and I do the same connection, but it's just kind of like more inside my mind, because I don't see physically person, but I can imagine.
Right.
And that works exactly the same. So the person at the moment when I'm doing it, just laying down with closed eyes and just let it go and see, maybe there's some pictures gonna come out. So all those pictures that come out.
Would you say something when that's happening, or do you speak some sort of words or phrases, or?
No.
Oh, I see.
No, not at all. No, we discuss after. I say what I see, and then the person say what the person see, and then we discuss what happened, what shifted, what changed.
I see. Ooh, that sounds very mystical.
Maybe we can try one time, so
Maybe,
you can see.
maybe.
I'd be curious to see what you
I
tell
see,
about it.
I see. Yeah, that's very interesting. I think so you mentioned about like using Reiki, to cure like the cut and also like some sort of trauma and stress. I'm just wondering like um can it also be used for like health optimization as well? Let's say like I'm a completely healthy individual, but then I want to get to another level. I want to optimize it even more. Like can Reiki be applicable as well? Yeah.
Definitely.
Right.
It absolutely can,
Right.
because there is never a state of mind when we are perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
Right? There's always something going on.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to boost the energy. I think right now it's the most common thing is to boost the energy, boost the brain focus, and try to become a human 6.0.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Reiki can help with. So it can accumulate the energy inside you, and once it's purifying the energy, you basically have more room to grow with your health, whether it's a emotional, spiritual, or physical health.
Mm. And just taking a step even more, like how would you differentiate Reiki from meditation, for example?
Well, that's completely actually meditation. Inside the meditation, I use Reiki if I want to. So basically, right now, actually, I'm talking to you right now, but I'm connected to the Jiva as well. And what it does, it just helps me to not just think with my brain,
Right.
but talk with my heart and
Right.
with the universe itself.
Right.
Because we're also in a very peaceful place.
Right.
So it helps me to boost my brain and create a better ideas of what to tell you right now.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one of the ways.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, about meditation, let's say meditation, there could be a different ones. There could be a guided meditation. I would say that's a good for the beginners. And then there could be meditation when you just listen to the music that's relaxing, that's bringing you. Basically, the idea is when we need to slow down the brain waves.
Yeah.
Ideally to the theta rhythms. This is
Yeah.
where we're healing ourselves. So Shiva is boosting whatever you're doing, whether you're working, whether you're meditating. If you have it for yourself, you can use it whatever you do.
Yeah. That's amazing. I think living on the road as a digital nomad, I'm sure it can present some like health challenges. You have to like juggle like so many different tasks, managing your online business and also like constantly on the road, traveling to like different places back and forth as well. What are some of the obstacles you have encountered, and like how do you overcome them? Yeah.
When I think about my journey as a digital nomad, I think the biggest obstacle is always the consistency. Consistency to stay with your workouts or yoga practices or whatever you do, because once you move to the place, you need some time to adapt the time zone, you need the time to adapt to whatever food there is around. So I think that's the biggest struggle I have, and I'll give you a little example. Once I was staying in
Koh Samui.
Koh Samui, yes, a really beautiful island for 2 months. So the first obstacle was that I arrived and I realized that there is no bike taxi. And I am not driving the bike. I'm not driving anything. So I was like, what do I do? Like, I couldn't go to any holistic school or yoga school, whatever. Like, I wanted to reach, like, I would have to ask my husband to go and take me over, and I was like, I can't do it because he has his own things. Like, it's just not gonna work. I have to think of something else.
Right.
So I also went to the local gym, and there was no AC, and it was so hot during the time. I couldn't stand that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and try to do yoga outside. I'm going for the yoga outside. And it's just, I was so sweating that my hands would flip from the mat, and I was like, okay, this is not the way. I can't do it. I need to like step back and think what I can do. So I was home, and instead of panicking, I write down some ideas of how can I, still managing. I was staying in a hotel at that time, and it has pretty small rooms, so I was not able to practice there inside. So what I did actually, I found a place within a hotel that has some room with the AC that I could practice. easily, actually.
Yeah.
I walked around different stairs. I asked them, like people who work there, and they helped me. And then I walked around and found what places I can eat healthy. So I found like a salad bar where I can make my own salad every day different, which
Right.
is really important for nutritious way of nourishing your body, yeah, like vitamins and minerals. Then I started working out with the place I found and pretty much started working from that. So
Yeah.
basically it's hard to stay consistent, but you need to give yourself a little bit space and maybe not overreacting it. You just be open to a little bit creative way of how to managing your own routine. And also I could meditate right in a room, so my meditation would stay with me wherever you are. So there we go. I have meditation, I have yoga or workout, and I have healthy food. This is the basic.
Yeah. Basically, there's always a way around things. You just have to be a bit more creative. Like in your case, like in Koh Samui, you're stuck in a place where like, you know, it's hard to get taxi or transportation to get by to like, you know, like the gyms, you know, fire gym with AC and all that. But like there's always a way around things. Like you can meditate, you can do yoga outdoor, and like there are a lot of ways around things that you can try.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of your work, you're constantly like touching on a lot of energies, you know, like people coming to you with problems and you have to solve them. Just like what kind of like best practices do you execute to make sure you're not burnt out yourself?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think the last time I've been burnt out is when I was working as a graphic designer and UI UX designer. So definitely it's the mindfulness practices. And when I talk about mindfulness practices, it's not necessarily has to be a meditation, like a seated meditation where you just, you know, focus with closed eyes, but it could be a meditative walk. Like today before we met, that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was walking around and just listening to the birds and just kind of like merge with the environment and nature. And this is how the mindfulness happens in the first place. Then I would say that's the most important. So if I would to choose something one that the most important to stick, I would choose with a mindful movements,
Right.
whether it's yoga or it's walk. But because when we move our body, it's not only about the physical part, it's also about our emotional, like we emotionally releasing something that we store every day. It's not like we every day releasing our emotions. We often like suppress them. We're scared, we cannot show, we cannot scream at people like normally.
Yeah.
So we need to release those through the movements.
Makes sense. And I want to ask some questions about your digital nomad like lifestyle. So when did you like decide to pursue this kind of digital nomad lifestyle? How did your close friends or family react to it?
That's a good one. I think I will start with the point where I stuck in Bali.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, Bali's home now.
Right.
She's like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Wait, what, you're not coming home?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm coming home, but Bali's also home. So I'm coming home to Ukraine, and I realized it's just not the same home anymore. I need to go back somewhere else. So this is when I start my like journey and my way of understanding that I am not just Ukrainian. I am the citizen of the universe and
Citizen of the world.
yeah, I love to say that.
Yeah.
Because I think the digital nomads, that's the people who are they're developing a really good skill to adapt wherever you are, because like if you see right now the world is very unstable in many countries. There is a lot of different things happening, and we need to learn how to adapt and still stick to our routine wherever we go, whatever we do. So I think it's very important.
Right.
I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah. And like because you're constantly on the move, right? Like does it ever get tiring? Like I mean, does it ever like, you know, occur to you that like I'm homesick, you know, for example, like do you see yourself like continuing this digital nomad lifestyle like in the next 3 or 4 years or in the long term? Doing this forever?
Well, Honestly, yeah, I had a period of time when I was feeling homesick, and I think that's one of the biggest concern of being digital nomad, of feeling this instability. Like you and women have a little bit more of this feeling. I feel like by just looking at myself that we need a little bit more stability. But then, you know what I
Yeah.
realized? Yeah, do you
Yeah,
agree with
yeah,
me?
yeah. I agree with that.
But then you know what I realized? There is a certain anchors that I have with me that helps me be home.
Right.
Because at the end, home, it is not where you are, it is your state of mind. So I have a little objects, I would say, that like keep me feeling home wherever I go. For example, I have a little amethyst crystal that has a different like the different symbols in it, like representing chakras. And when I have that, I have a little bit of incense and oil, and like I'm going to a new place, I'm burning the incense, I instantly feel home because I have the same exact smell. So I bring the same smell to every
Right.
place I go. So like my body and my mind is kind of like wind down and feel okay, like I'm home inside.
Right.
And answering your questions about if I am planning to keep moving, I still think that Bali is my base,
Right.
and I consider myself living in Bali rather than being a full digital nomad. I still think that this is like a slow nomadic life where
Slow travel.
yeah, I have this point of the world, like point of and places where I love to go in the world. So it's always Chiang Mai, it's always Bali, it's always gonna be somewhere in Europe, maybe Spain,
Yeah.
and it's always going to be Ukraine home when I will be able to
Yeah.
get there, obviously. And the other countries is just going to be exploration more
Right.
than nomadic life, because
Yeah.
I sometimes need to create some kind of, I mean, maybe when we're going to talk about what I want to create in the future, you kind of will understand why I want to stick with Bali.
I think then you basically kill two birds with one stone. That's like the perfect balance.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's also less tiring that way.
Yeah. So like if I would get to give a recommendation for digital nomads who wants to keep traveling, try to pick your base and then maybe explore things around, and maybe like prepare the time to like be at the place, whether it's very short period of time where
Yeah.
you're just exploring, or a little bit longer where you can just settle down and stabilize your work and routine.
Yeah,
So that's two ways I was doing basically.
that's good. So if you were to do it all over again, like, you know, what was one piece of advice like you wish you would have received when you started becoming a digital nomad?
Yeah, I think if somebody would told me back in the days when I just started to have like more courage to make bold steps up front,
Right.
like to just not be afraid and not be scared to go where you wish for and take whatever yours, because I do believe that whatever fears we have, it is whatever holds us back. This is where we have a progress actually happening. Because let's say if I was many years ago, I was really scared to do videos and like shooting myself.
Yeah.
And thinking about opening a YouTube channel for me was like a crazy idea.
Right.
Now I think this is my thing.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
Yeah.
You know. So whatever you guys like scared of, just
try
take
it.
a little step,
Right.
and then a little step more and more and more, and then you will see that you're gonna be on top of it and you're gonna enjoy it. So
Yeah, I love the mindset. Just like stop overthinking, try to take the actions. You know, just go try it out.
yeah.
When are you gonna start learning how to drive a motorbike though? Or like a car so you can get around?
Car I can.
Oh, your car you
yeah,
can.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I just know motorbike.
Yeah.
I'm not planning.
You're not planning?
No.
You're still trying to.
I love the get a bike taxi and just look
Right.
around and
Yeah.
have my mindful journey.
But not driving a scooter.
No.
Maybe the next step for you is to overcome that
Have you-
limited belief. Yeah.
Wait. Have you been in Bali and seen the traffic there?
I've been to Bali 7 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not the Bali, you know.
Back then, like I found it very commercial already back then. So it's
So
even.
if you're gonna go back to
Yeah.
Bali now, I invite you. We can have a little chat there as well. when you're gonna start driving there, you realize why you don't want to drive there, because it's just so stressful. And I don't think I need the stress. Like if I'm going, let's say, to the meeting with my client, I don't need the stress driving. I just want to focus on what I'm going to be working with my clients, right? Like that's my point.
Yeah. I fell 5 times before I learned how to ride a
That's
scooter. By the way,
reason.
so as you mentioned, like I really want to learn it. So I mean, I just try it. Like it went for a lot of trial and error, but it works in the end. So
Yeah,
it's like a lot of persistence. So what's next for you and your coaching business? Like any exciting projects or goals that you know on the horizon?
Well, yes, of course there is. Of course there is. First of all, I want to expand my YouTube channel as much as possible so I can gather more people who are interested into the health routine and how to become more healthy, no matter like if you're digital nomad or you're just a busy worker or you're just a person who wants to become healthy anyway. So if you guys are interested in such topic, please make sure you subscribe. I share tips in YouTube and in Instagram as well. The second thing is I really want to create a healthy and conscious community that would support each other in any ways. And right now, like I'm trying to gather information and create the vision of how is that going to be. Probably first is going to be online. I'm trying to choose the platform and see how I'm going to start. I want to invite different coaches. I want to have a nice discussions there. I want to really have for people to have like accessible way to become healthy and not thinking that it's something expensive that we need to have.
Yeah.
And one dream that I have, I want to share with you, is that I want to open my own retreat center and the healthy cafe.
Oh.
Because since I am really good at cooking, I just released recently my cookbook, 100 recipes for busy lives. Like that's
Nice.
exactly the like recipes that can cook anywhere, anytime, no matter what if you're busy. Like most of the recipes less than 20 minutes of cooking.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. Like I want to have cafe and retreat center all together, so people can come and relax and have their body rejuvenate with their like connect with their mind, body and soul all together, rather than it's going to be a retreat or it's just going to be daily practices. Yeah, well, it's a little bit long way, but I think that might be Bali.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for the conversation today. I think the conversation has been flowing with a lot of insights, and then I'm sure like the audience like find it very useful for those that want to start their digital nomad journey and also maybe like interested in like wellness and health and try to figure out how to stay healthy when they're on the road. I'm sure they find this conversation like very, very helpful and valuable.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope guys it was useful for you. If you have any questions, just drop it down and I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah. Follow Kate on Instagram and also her YouTube channel. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Awesome.